Hello everyone, it's John of 2 back in a brand new missing episodes. This is missing episodes episode 7 of the series. This is in the list of Doctor Who stories 21. As far as I know, there are 3 available stories. They are 3, 5 and 10. I have actually done this video before and I made a big boo-boo because it wouldn't record for some silly reason. So I'm actually doing this again, so I actually do know about this because I've already read it up and this was done yesterday and I still can't remember hardly anything. The only thing is the other clips are only available audio. There are some actual, clips from episodes, but audio, I'm sure Lisa Stevens has a bit of, clips on it, audio and clips and book. You need to read a book, of course, of it. It's very interesting indeed. So, as I went with the people last time, I read about it a bit. So, here we go again, guys. This is me reading it again. Currently, only episode 2, 5, and 10 are known as existence. All 12 were recorded and transmitted from magical videotapes. Sequences had 16 millimeters film tele recordings made for portable overseas. However, episode 7, The Feast of Stephen, Christmas episode, was excluded from this, and the story of offered for sale was 11 parts. So they didn't include that one, so that one's really likely to be extinct. I'm sure I've seen some clips of it. The original videotapes of episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9 are listed among the first Doctor Who's ever to be wiped. So, if they're ever found, that'd be kind of odd. But there is actually a bit of a story about one of them. I can tell you that's coming up here. In August 17th of August 1967. At this point, the Feast of Servants became the first episode of Doctor Who seemingly lost forever. So basically, this story is lost. I'm sure there are actually clips because I've seen it. I'm sure I've seen the Doctor saying, woohoo. But there you go. There are actually clips of episode 1, and they actually did it for like this YouTuber, this big YouTuber called Bob Color. Yeah, like a little direct tape on episode 1. Episode 3, a clip around 90 seconds was screened in 1971 edition of Blue Peter. The co-star was, of course, presenting it was, of course, Peter Purves, who was actually in that story for a fact. He was shown it thrilled by the title Death Planet when it was only this in definitional episode. And this is where it gets interesting. This is where I was talking about to you guys. This is where I find it interesting. Episode 4, The Traitors. In episode 4, a 1973 edition of Blue Peter featured another item of Doctor Who and included a clip of the screen landing up Katarina's ejection from the airlock. So there's an addition to this, to the core recovery of the episode itself. The preform inserts for episode 2, Day of Andronica, including the raw soundtrack, were retrained by the BBC Film Library and never junked in 1991. I can't talk. The archive copy was discovered to be missing, but it was found again in 1993. In 1998, these inserts were combined with the off-air soundtracks to reproduce the scenes as transmitted. If he knows now, this is what I was on about. Episode 4, a film copy of episode 4, The Trainers, wound up in. So they did So episode 4 was wound up in the BBC Film Library, although the reasons for this are unclear, as that library had no formal mandate to retrain such material. In 1973, the episode was loaned to the Blue Peter production office for a feature on Doctor Who and never returned. Its owner's fate was unknown. So perhaps, guys, episode 4 is still out there. It's kind of a sad feeling this, because a lot of sellers are supposed to have, maybe some underhand stuff's going on here. Maybe episode 4 was sold, and I got a feeling that might have happened. It's actually kind of upsetting that you think episode 4 was out there, now it's sold. Are we going to be waiting till this person who has, well, these people will have, the missing episodes die? What happened then? Would it go down to the family, the missing episode, because they think, wow, this is going to cost a lot, or wow, I can have this in my personal collection. But sometimes people have it, they don't even know it, and sometime in the future, hopefully, with the second Doctor, there's a story that's coming up, and I can tell you about it. I know about it, but these ones I don't know much about, so that's why I have to read them off by heart. By 1976, the entire story was considered to be missing. However, episode 5 and 10 were returned in 1983, which remains, how they returned remained unclear. Episode 2, Day of Dawn was returned to the BBC early in 2004. A former BBC. Didn't I just say episode 2 was missing? Oh, sorry, isn't missing? Sorry, episode 2, episode 5, episode 10. I said that episode 3 isn't episode 3. It's episode 2, 5, and 10. That's it. I got that wrong. And the prequel to this story is actually Mission to the Unknown. So some people count it as a 13-parter because it's the prequel to this. And a lot of people would, if it was a full thing, a full story, they would prefer that to be with this. I can understand where they're going with this. It makes perfect sense. You'd rather have the whole story as prequel. If it ever came out, they want that to come out with it. So episode 3 is not found. It is actually missing. I thought they had episode 3, but they have a couple of clips. So 4 was found by the BBC Film Library, lent it to Blue Peter. So if they never lent it to Blue Peter, would that be in some, would that be in the Doctor Who Lost in Time box set right now for us to watch? Not under some seller, unless it was, scrapped. I can't believe someone would go in 1973, this is rubbish. Doctor Who was much better in 1973, I think, with the public. I'm not talking about the way it was, I'm talking about with the public. I think people grew to like John Pertwee's Doctor more, and I hope they didn't wreck it. By the sounds of it, episode 4 is still out there, hopefully. So episode 4 could be a looking forward episode sometime in the future. It might not be straight away. 1960, what was this? 1960. Don't forget, this person could be any age. 1973, am I saying? 1973. So, 1973, the person now, we got to think about this. How old would they be? And would they be lending it out to people? 73 to 2017. How old would they be? They would be. How old? I'm no good with maths. How old am I? I'll get it here somewhere. Something will tell me how old they would be. Something will tell me. They are 44. Oh god, they'll be a bit older than 44. They'll be like probably. I'm gonna say they're in their 50s, 50s, 60s. So some person has it in their 50s, 60s, unless they've sold it to other sellers. If they do have this story, they'll be in the 50s, 60s, um, which is actually more depressing actually. So I might have to wait another 2 years for this Doctor Who story to ever return. As we did hear, there was other Doctor Who missing stories to come out, and people saying they were hoax. I don't know, but because there've been a lot of rumors and all that, maybe they're waiting to next September because Doctor Who's only going to be on in the spring, and soon that will be over. Start of the summer that will be just about over. Um, when does it start? It starts in April. Yeah, it'll finish about just at the beginning of June, maybe in June or just before June. So maybe in what's that last one? May. So might just end in May. I'd say 10, 12 episodes every Sunday that are like 4 Sundays in a month. So maybe we actually will get into it. Yeah, we will actually get into June. What I'm talking about. Um, that April the 2, then there's 4, so that's 6. So we'll probably get into like the middle end of June. So it will continue to June and then it will end, in my opinion.